Okay, just had a great morning working the dogs on some chukar birds. I'm going to show you two things today in this video blog that I wanted to share with people. Number one, how I prepare most of my game birds. But number two, a cool new invention that I found that, no, I'm not sponsored, I wish I was, but everybody needs one of these, so I wanted to show it to you. Second, I always have a knife sharpener handy because as you're cutting through tendons and bones and whatever you need to, your knife's going to go dull fast, and a cleaner knife wastes way less meat. So, first, the way I prepare a bird, and I do this mostly with pheasant, chuck, or quail, partridge, anything that I'm not going to cook with skin on. If you're going to cook with skin on, you got to pluck the bird. But these game birds have such delicate skin, it's real easy to tear. So it's a long process to get one plucked and cleaned and everything. They cook up amazing when you take the time to do it. But if you've been out with several friends and you've got 15, 20 birds to clean, you just don't have the time to do it. So I just grab a pinch of the feathers and skin together. I just peel it straight back to expose the breast. The other thing I do is I take the feet, I break them sideways at the knee there. And the reason I do that is because then when I cut them off, I have the round joint of the leg, which doesn't puncture a Ziploc bag or a freezer bag. I don't use my game shears for legs anymore because it makes a sharp end on the bone. It's faster to do that, but this is better because then there's a nice round side. We pull this skin back, and then we untuck the legs from the skin. Just kind of push it up out of that pocket of skin, pull it down. And so obviously this is going to be a skinless breast and skinless leg quarter, which changes how we cook them, of course, but it's way faster when you have a lot of birds to do. So now I've got him all exposed there. I'm going to break the hip out of the socket until I pop that little hip bone. Same thing on this side. I'm going to take my knife and just cut right along the skeleton there. And same thing, I cut leaving the round part of the hip bone so it doesn't pop my bag. Same thing on this side. So I got a clean leg quarter. Obviously we're going to clean them up more. That's where we start. And then I lay the bird breast side up and place my knife right along the keel bone here. And I cut down both sides of the keel bone like that. I flip the bird and I follow that up to the clavicle or the wishbone and trace the wishbone both sides. And because I'm right-handed, I flip it back around and I take my thumb in here and I peel back the tender. So this is the breast, this is the tender, and both those muscles are something we want to eat. And I just clean it away from the bone, kind of like filleting a fish. Then we have a boneless, skinless breast. The same thing on the other side. Again, sharp knife is your friend. Be careful of your fingers. Boneless, skinless breast. Okay, and the second part of it is now we've got blood clots where BBs went in or a dog bruised the meat or whatever, but we want to get all the feathers, BBs, and everything out. In the old days, hold these under the sink. I break open the blood clot and wash that out because those blood clots are going to flavor the meat and give it kind of a bitter taste. So we want to wash out blood clots, and blood clots often come because there's a BB there. So if there's a BB, we want to dig the BB out. If there's a BB there, it probably pushed a feather in, so we want to get that out, because all those things help spoil meat in terms of taste and bacteria. So we want to get all those open and clean. Just kind of scrub it. And then some people want to brine their birds or marinate them or whatever before cooking. Because these are pen raised birds I worked this morning, they're going to taste fine without any added preparation. So I'm going to just bread and air fry these. The air fryer is my new best friend. I love to fry them in butter in a skillet or even Crisco or olive oil. But air fryer is so fast, so easy, and such a healthy way to cook them. Done in 17 minutes. Get that BB out. Get those blood clots. The better time you spend preparing your meat, the better it's going to be in the final dish. Especially if you're trying to introduce other people to game meat. Everybody says, oh, game meat tastes nasty. Well, it does if you don't prepare it right. It takes time to prepare it right in the field and when you get home. And you've got a good source of meat that's got zero hormones, zero vaccinations, zero anything going on with it. Okay, so that's how I normally do chucker. Now, the next clip, we're going to show you the shortcut way. Next, I'm going to clean these other 3 birds real quick. I won't do that on camera because I already showed you once, but the process is the same. Other than I'm not going to hold them under the faucet and wash them. I'm going to put them in this game washer bucket, Cowboy Wild Game Washer. This is stinking amazing for fish fillets, especially the white bass we catch out here, and for game meat. So just drop them in the bucket. These water jets swirl that water around, and everything I did by hand under the faucet, wait till you watch how they come out of this bucket after just a couple of minutes. While I'm cleaning them, I throw them in the bucket, and then when I'm done cleaning, I'll pull them out and show them to you. So these aren't shot very bad, but you can see that one broke the leg. Got a couple BBs in them. Watch this. This one we have a bunch of bone fragments where the BB hit that leg. Toss it in the bucket. You can see it's just doing a little washing machine thing. So these have been just swirling around here while I was cleaning the other birds, and you can see it's knocking the feathers off the top. But here's the cool thing. The last time I did this, it got all the BBs out of the meat for me, and I was trying to figure out how. But it's hooked up to cold water, and I just threw in warm meat. So that cold water makes those muscle fibers contract, which makes those holes get bigger because the muscles was pulling away from the hole and made the BBs just drop out. The BBs, feathers, everything that were stuck in the meat. And so these bone chips, we're likely to see the same thing. So I'll just reach in here and grab a piece. There's a piece that's been swirling around in there, and you can see all the skin's off, all the feathers are off. It takes all the silver skin off. There's very little after cleanup that needs done. Here's a little hole where I can see a BB dropped out of that leg quarter. It saves me all the work. It's unbelievable. So we're going to throw that leg quarter in that bag. Fish out another one. Same thing. And if it's still got any bruising in there, I just kind of work at that bruise a little bit. And throw it back in while I grab another piece. Here's the brass. The silver skin's gone, feathers are gone. There was a BB and a clot there, and you can see it just opened up. There's no longer a BB or a feather there because those muscle fibers shrank away from it, and it literally washes them away. Anyway, coolest thing ever. You got to get one of these. If you fillet fish, throw your fillets in here. Gets all the scales and blood clots off of those for game birds. This is my new favorite tool that I have for hunting.